Ooh, I want the fucking smoke today. On Monday night, Jon Stewart returned to The Daily Show after 9 years and 2 presidential elections. It was an electric return. While the problem with Jon Stewart was a more procedural, lower energy kind of affair, his return to The Daily Show was sharp, pointed, cathartic, insightful, and just funny.
Why am I back? You may be asking yourselves. It's a very reasonable question. I have committed a lot of crimes. From what I understand, talk show hosts are granted immunity, so it doesn't...
Now, The Daily Show, since Jon joined, back when Cro-Magnons were active, was built to skewer a few specific parts about American culture. The absurdity of the media ecosystem and news bubble, pageantry that surrounds American politics, and the dishonesty and the corruption of leaders. And, fuck the culture war. In his first show back, he gave his thoughts on the election we have all been thinking about.
They are the oldest people ever to run for president, breaking by only 4 years the record that they set. Biden's lost the step, but Trump regularly says things at rallies that would warrant a wellness check.
All I know about magnets is this. Give me a glass of water. Let me drop it on the magnets. That's the end of the magnets.
We're not suggesting neither man is vibrant, productive, or even capable. But they're both stretching the limits of being able to handle the toughest job in the world. What's crazy is thinking that we're the ones, as voters, who must silence concerns and criticisms. It is the candidate's job to assuage concerns, not the voter's job not to mention them.
Now, what did you hear there? Because the message was fairly clear. A, it is weird that we have candidates this old running for elected office. B, the media is not even keeled with its criticism of Biden's age as it is with Trump. We'll get back to that in a fucking minute. And C, it's unfair to tell people that they're not allowed to talk about this issue because it is significant. And November 5th is important, but so is every day before it and every day after it. Working on making the world a better place is a consistent affair. That's exactly what he said. This is what these motherfuckers reported it as. Jon Stewart is equating both Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Jon Stewart is just Bill Maher now. Jon Stewart is the reason Hillary lost. What the fuck? Putting aside the fact that, no, Jon Stewart was not the reason Hillary Clinton lost the 2016 election, and he didn't contribute to it. There's data proving this. Watching political surrogates on Twitter flood every mention of this dude's name and try very hard to make sure when you type in Jon Stewart or anything that trends about Jon Stewart, it's negative, is very indicative of a backlash campaign and feels like a direct example of the insidious political environment people are frustrated with. The reason people were so excited for Jon Stewart to come back is because they hate this shit. And it's very interesting to watch all of it happen because this is what happened when he was on The Daily Show fucking 9 years ago. This was a consistent issue. That is not what he said. So I want to tackle a little bit of the insane reaction to this, what's going on, why it's being misconstrued, and how this is indicative of all of the issues we have had for the last 8 to 10 years in American politics. And let's start with some of these tweets. The first one front and center that I happened to see was the one by Keith Olbermann. Keith Olbermann, if you don't know, is a 3 times fired newscaster who was known for his liberal commentary and his attempt to try to be a counterweight to Bill O'Reilly. He fucking failed. He didn't do a very good job. In fact, Al Franken was more of a counterweight to him, and he became a senator. So, Keith, you kind of suck. Keith was also routinely criticized for his decorum and lack of professionalism multiple times in many news stories. And here's what this motherfucker had to say.
Well, after 9 years away, there's nothing else to say to the both sides this fraud. Jon Stewart bashing Biden, except please make it another 9 years.
This fucking guy. Number one, the idea that Jon Stewart is equating both Biden and Trump as being equally bad is completely fucking false. Here's a clip.
Joe Biden isn't Donald Trump. He hasn't been indicted as many times, hasn't had as many fraudulent businesses, or been convicted in a civil trial for sexual assault, or been ordered to pay defamation and had his charities disbanded, or stiffed a shit ton of blue-collar tradesmen he'd hired. Should we even get to the grab the pussy stuff? Probably not. But
there he is clearly stating the differences between the two. Trump's multiple allegations, Trump's horrendous rhetoric, his fascistic tendencies. Oh, here he is also stating about the media bias you've been complaining about for a fucking week, about how the media only reports on Biden's age and not Trump's.
The footage of the president unable to recall simple facts must have been brutal to watch.
James Webb. I don't remember the names. Don't remember the name. I don't remember ever buying something for myself.
So you don't remember saying you have one of the best memories?
I don't remember.
I'm sorry, that was the wrong footage.
That was the bit he opened the show with. And by the way, Keith is emblematic of everything Stewart skewered for years.
Scott Brown, we have an irresponsible, homophobic, racist, reactionary, ex-new model, teabagging supporter of violence against women and against politicians with whom he disagrees.
Yeah, I think that's the harshest description of anyone I've ever heard uttered on MSNBC.
And he would often be like, oh my God, thank God Jon Stewart is here. He's such a good guy. Whenever it was useful to his own ambition. I don't think you get partisan hack in any other flavor. Also, Keith is posting videos like he's in the fucking spider hole they found Saddam Hussein in. I don't know fucking why. And consistently tries to market himself as,
I am the resistance. I am the truth teller.
The old white guy who used to comment on sports and got fired from his job multiple times for being unprofessional. Yeah, that fucking guy. Fuck you, Keith. And then we had Too Raw, Too Real. Now this guy is influencer. For all intents and means, a full-on surrogate on Twitter for Democratic leaning causes. And that's the thing. I agree with this guy on a lot of causes, even with Keith. That's not the issue here. Here's his video.
Particularly you, Jon Stewart. How the fuck can you throw mothballs from a nursing home? You a pot calling the kettle motherfucking black. Okay, you and Joe Biden look the same motherfucking age and you 20 years younger, and that says a lot about your motherfucking ass. Okay.
Right off the bat, you can tell how full of shit this guy is. Literally in the episode, he makes fun of his age.
Look at me. Look what time hath wrought. Give the kids a treat of the lunar surface here.
You look older than my eldest grandfather, and he died 3 years ago, and his ass was 93.
By the way, he made that joke in a tweet earlier. He's trying to, I just want to point out something. All of these people are making specifically kind of structured tweets and jabs because they want certain things to go viral and certain talking points to work. That's like the basic strategy for these social media campaigns. It happens a lot. You see quite a few people kind of repeat their bit over and over so it gets into the lexicon and other people kind of use it as a barb to put out into the public. Trump famously did that for all of his opponents. He'll put out a barb and he'll have people repeat it over and over and over again so it becomes a sticking point. But this is a specific tactic this fucking guy is using.
Y'all was to question Joe Biden's ability. His wisdom is an act of Congress. So Joe Biden, being as smart as he is, already told us what the fuck it was, and he had to work within the confines of the laws that already existed and maneuver us to get $136 billion worth of student loan debt.
Oh my God, and then Joe Biden split the sea and then led his people out of Egypt, and then after a while he came down from a mountain with 2 tablets, and actually that was the Infrastructure Act. I had to record this just to be how much of it like a fucking stan this guy is. When people say, can you throw on some music, is it just Biden speeches and campaign rallies? This entire video is filled with an entire straw man argument. My dude here is just so fucking pressed that anybody said something about Biden's age that he's just going off. By the way, you can both say it is weird that Joe Biden is this old and this fucking frail as president, and that he's been incredibly effective in his last 4 years. There's a lot of places where he's made huge strides, like specifically within infrastructure, specifically within trying to build guardrails within the procedural system of Congress as well as the presidency. There is a reason the House Republicans aren't going crazy. They impeached Mayorkas, but that's about the biggest thing they've gotten recently. Also, the economy is doing well. The jobs report was way better than normal, and inflation is starting to come down, and we didn't have a full all-out recession. Even though we had massive layoffs, companies are starting to hire again. You can say all of the things you said, and he's still fucking old. That's all. It's like going up to somebody and saying, hey man, you have something on your shirt. What the fuck? Are you calling me an asshole? No. I'm just saying there's something on your shirt and your shirt looks dirty. Are you saying I'm a dirty piece of shit and I deserve to live in a pigsty? No. John, I'm literally just saying you have something on your shirt. Are you telling me that I need to abandon my family, go live in an underground bunker, and then just seclude myself from society for the next 50 years until I die alone? No, bitch. There's something on your shirt. I'm like mad, dude. I'm like, I'm mad. Anybody who knows anything about The Daily Show knows this is specifically what the show made fun of. They made fun of partisan hackery. They talked about the fact that the issues that this guy is bringing up are important. All right? Bringing down inflation is important. Creating jobs is important. Trying to do the right thing and fighting a Supreme Court that is 6'3" and very partisan is important. But what makes that harder is when partisan hacks get into the conversation and delude the conversation with talking points so you can't really discuss anything. There's a very famous case of this. It's called Crossfire, and it fucking tanked this motherfucker's career until he came back years later as a Nazi because John wasn't there. And listen, the tweets go on. Remember that Jon Stewart spent a lot of time on a show trashing Hillary Clinton and engaging in false equivalency. First off, no, he didn't. He also wasn't present for the 2016 campaign. He was there for like a week, and there was no false equivalency. In the time he spent dissing Donald Trump, how many Twitter fights did Jon Stewart get in with Hillary Clinton? A few weeks before the 2016 election, Stewart went after Trump on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. So disappointed in Jon Stewart and The Daily Show last night. That was an epic fail. By the way, if you say epic fail, that hasn't been used since like 2010. It's like it's the hello you kids of this era. I won't be watching going forward, thanks. Both sidesism is what has gotten us here and is eating us alive. Watch Stephen Colbert Late Show. He gets it. Listen, bitch. Stephen Colbert makes fun of Biden's age all the fucking time.
Look at this face. It's like an old catcher's mitt. I mean, white does crack, Jack. I look like somebody just unwrapped a mummy. Don't ask what it was wrapped in.
What country are we in? Where am I? I smell toast.
Knock, knock. Not sure, but he's been standing silently in my doorway for a while now. He's a pale fellow, big cloak, long, sharp knife on a pole. Smiling right at me, great set of chompers. Look into his eye sockets to see a little movie about all the fun stuff I did when I was a kid.
Like, this is the kind of thing I'm trying to talk about. Both sidesism doesn't mean, oh, you know what? Take a shit on Trump. But leave Biden alone. He's my baby. Also, Jon Stewart did not get us here. During the 2016 election, from both Hillary's side and every other side, there were multiple reasons why Hillary lost that election. Russian propaganda, the Comey letter. Jon Stewart didn't write that. In fact, weeks before his show went off air, he gave a defense to the fact that the Republicans were trying to use the email issue as a wedge issue to try to discredit Clinton. He was defending her. And then a guy below was like, watch Lawrence O'Donnell instead. Lawrence O'Donnell is a news guy. Jon Stewart is a comedian. Why are you looking to comedians to co-sign your politicians? That means that your society is broken. It means you fucked up, bro. People with platforms have a lot of sway, of course, but people understand Jon Stewart is there to talk about the fact that this is crazy, right? This whole election thing is crazy. And if you can't admit that, that's one of the leading factors that led to the 2016 election going the way it did. It was the fact that her campaign deliberately turned down voters and engagement opportunities with other people. It was also the fact that surrogates like yourself alienated multiple voters in rural states. It wasn't even young people, it was voters in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Those were the three states that fell that Trump went and flipped, mainly from Obama to Trump voters. Many of those people voted for Obama during the 2008 financial crisis. And when they came out on the other side, they felt abandoned. There was a reason why white, non-college educated voters went to Trump so quickly. There was also the fact that CNN ran his fucking rallies like a fucking campaign ad. By the way, they did a fucking town hall with him not too long ago. And that guy who made that got fired. I'm sweating. I'm so fucking annoyed at these people. The other thing to point out is a lot of the people who are saying this have very interesting view counts. When you go to a lot of these people's profiles, they kind of tell on themselves. A lot of these people are direct, super big surrogates. Like, there's like,
proud Biden-Harris supporter, 2024 forever.
Like, very clearly, like, ride or die. All of them really, really trying hard to make it on Twitter. You know, a platform where a guy who's retweeted anti-Semitic conspiracy theories and let Donald Trump back on and promoted like anti-trans and pro-Russian people like Tucker Carlson and other motherfuckers. And before you go, oh, they're just trying to spread the word. Twitter is still the least used social media platform, period. Less than TikTok, less than Instagram, less than Facebook. Twitter sucks. These people aren't upset because Jon Stewart is making fun of Biden. He's mad because he's making fun of them. These people do not help the political process. Now, that's the one thing I took away from watching The Daily Show on Monday. It was like fucking the Incredible Hulk waking up from a fucking fever dream. So much of the stuff that I've just been anxious over and frustrated by, I'm still in. We are still in an ecosystem that prioritizes narratives and posturing over what people are actually feeling. It is okay to say Biden and Trump are really old. It's okay to say Biden's handling of Gaza is fucked up. It's okay to say it is frustrating voting for people who feel like they don't get enough done when they are in office. And it is also okay if you say that and we need to vote in November because Donald Trump is an existential threat to US democracy. All of those things can be true, and that is the fucking point. Revisionist history in comparing Jon Stewart to Bill Maher, which is fucking wild, is categorically what got us into this mess. I am also with you and will probably vote for Biden in November. But you know what I won't do? I won't be a little bitch on Twitter saying Jon Stewart is destroying democracy because he called an 81-year-old man old. He is old. If you think he's a good leader still, vote for him. And this is the last thing I'm going to say. I mentioned this. I mentioned Biden was old on Sunday. I was worried I was going to get flamed because of these motherfuckers on Twitter. Everybody in my comments was civil and saying things like, hey, listen, I know he's old, but it's important for democracy. I know this is what's going on, but I really feel that we still have to do it, and Donald Trump is an existential threat. Some people were like, oh, it's frustrating that he's so old. That is the conversation you need to have. You need to have the acknowledgement of what's going on. Don't gaslight people into voting. Talk about it. It's called being a fucking adult. We are all very scared. I am scared of November. But here's the thing. I'm scared when these motherfuckers speak about it. When he talks about it, I feel better. Because at least when he talks about it, I feel like there's something that I can do. So anyway, that's our show. I really encourage you to go watch that Jon Stewart clip. Join Too Soon Crew. We're doing a giveaway for people who join now. We've added new tiers, a $2 and a $5 tier. Join the Discord. Check out Freestyle the News from Sunday. My name is Zaid Tabani, and I'll see y'all soon. Let's go!